Hello, this is our FMP evaluation. It's Nathan Tucker and James Abbott both doing
Hello.
this. We're going to talk about which of us made each song in the album, the process of making each of the songs, how we went about making the album cover, what went well and what we're most proud of, and what didn't go well and what we'd do differently if we were to do it again.
Alright, so first, who made which song? I made the second, fourth, and sixth song on the album, which were Transient Tundra, Nova,
Wait.
Wave, and A New Mystery Awaits. And you made the first, third, and fifth song, which
Yep.
were called.
As the Hallerias, Luna Vulpes, which is the fifth one. The third one was Masked Hurricane. The first one, as the Hallerias, was inspired by Dragon Age and Skyrim. You can see this through the orchestral theme and the range of orchestral instruments throughout it, which was both games combined. And Skyrim came in again in the chanting part, just after the halfway point.
Yeah, we made sure we did that with every song we made. We made sure that we included the instruments that were noticeable enough in the original theme tunes and songs, so people, when they listened to our songs, they'd know which games these songs were taken from. When making Transient Tundra, I picked instruments, that sounded a lot like Jungle Theme. So I picked these synths and some xylophones, and I made up my own tune, which sounds a lot like Donkey Kong, in my opinion. I think you'd agree.
Yep.
And it captures the essence of the game. We pick games that we know a lot and we care about, so we have a lot of knowledge on these games, so we know what works and what doesn't work well with the songs.
Masked Hurricane was inspired by Crash Bandicoot. Went about this by using xylophones. What else was there? Cowbell.
You had a little guitar in there as well.
Yeah. It kind of tried to make it more of a groovy theme as opposed to the first one, which was more orchestral. And for Luna Vulpes, that was inspired by Star Fox, which again is different to the other two, because that was more space themed and sci-fi
Yeah,
instead of jungle and orchestral.
that was another thing when we chose the songs for the album. We made sure that each game we picked was very different from one another, so that we wouldn't have six songs that sounded exactly the same. We'd have ones that were all a little bit different from each other. Would make the album interesting. For my fourth song, I made it quite simple. I made it just a piano piece because the game that inspired it, Mario Galaxy, has a lot of those simple piano pieces with some echoes on that. So I made that sound a lot like the Galaxy games. And my final piece, based on the Professor Layton games, was made purely from loops. I didn't make anything in it, but I picked a lot of loops that work well with each other, and I think that's my favourite song on the album that I made.
My favorite from that I made was definitely As the Hallerias, because that was the one I spent most of my time on. And as for the complexity of the song, I think it really came out well considering how many different instruments I used for it, and the structure of it is also nicely paced.
Yeah,
Like it starts off soft, gets heavier and heavier, then kind of dulls down a bit after halfway, and then builds up again, and then ends.
it's almost like a trailer theme
Mm.
in a way. It works quite well for that. Do you want to go about making the album cover?
Sure. For the album cover, we started out by creating some concepts on paint. Um, we brainstormed the name for us as an artist and for the album itself. Um, we pretty much just liked Soundborn as our artist name and Player 2 as the album name as soon as we pitched the ideas. So that's what we went with. And we just tried going about different layouts for how we would space out Player 2 on the album cover. The first one was just the words the word player and the number 2, one on top of the other in paint, in different colors. The second concept was pretty much the same, only with a background. And the third and final concept, I made.
On 3ds Max, didn't you?
Yeah, I made the lettering and the number out of blocks on 3ds Max, and also a musical note to the left of it that kind of fit together quite well. Um, and I turned the camera so that all of the lettering was at an angle, which gave it a nice shadowy effect.
Yeah, it makes it stand out a lot more than some other album covers do, I think.
But obviously, because I had to make it out of blocks, it was hard to actually make it eligible. Because I think I made the lettering 3 blocks high, so making the letter A was a bit tricky, and the letter R. But I think it came out alright.
Yeah, I think you can distinguish that what it says. Yeah.
And the color scheme was blue and black, because we tried out lots of different colors with black, and blue was just the best one. It looks really cool.
But then you've got the little people on there as well that stand out because they're quite bright colours. You've got the yellow and the red one, and they contrast it quite well, I think.
I think it's quite clever how we went about that, because we made some little people out of blocks, all of different colours. The red one and the blue one are stood on top of the number 2, which are easy to spot, but then I found that when we showed the album cover to a lot of people, a lot of them didn't spot the yellow one straight away, which I actually like, because it kind of makes it more interesting to look at if you spot it and think, oh, I didn't see that before.
Yeah. Yeah, so next we're going to talk about what we think went well with the whole project. I think pretty much everything went well. We've made 6 good songs between us. They're all of pretty good quality, and even though we changed our time schedule a bit, we ended up only making 6 instead of 10. That was because I think the quality of the songs we make surpassed what we think we were going to make.
Yeah, we spent more time making the songs good and interesting to listen to, rather than making really simple songs, looping them once to make it longer.
Which is what we originally sort of planned to do.
Yeah.
When it turned out we actually could make quite a good 3-minute song, we thought we'd carry on the trend like that, and so we changed our time planner out a bit to reflect that.
For quite a few of the songs we did, like make half a song's worth and then loop it once and then make it fade out at the end. Just because for a video game theme, that's what they tend to do. Like if you're listening to a game theme whilst you're playing the game, it has to loop, so it was ideal.
Yeah, works quite well in the whole scheme of things.
I think what we're most proud of, I think just the fact that everything came together perfectly.
Yeah, considering what went wrong with the first idea we had, which was to make the game on Flash, and that went kind of down the drain pretty quickly. It was nice to have this, which went very smooth. We managed to always get the room we wanted to work in. It was always a good working environment. We always reached our quota of work every day, and it went very well, I think.
And every single song is very distinct from one another.
Yeah.
We've got one orchestral, 2 jungle-like, but one is groovier.
Yeah, one's more mellow, and the other one's groovier. Then we got a spacey, more relaxed spacey one, a more rocky spacey one, and then a kind of Victorian-esque. So it's a nice mixture.
Yeah, and they all kind of faded to each other quite well as well, so that's nice.
Yeah.
As for what didn't go so well, what just came to mind was during the recording of the chanting and the kind of crescendo build-up of the guys singing in As the Hallelujahs, the lining up of both the chanting and the crescendo parts didn't add up to tempo quite perfectly. So in the recording, you might hear that every second chant when they first start doesn't land on the beat, but it's instead a little bit before it, so it could match up with the crescendo.
It used to make quite a while trying to get them to level up properly.
Yeah, so as a result, I didn't add the crescendo into the final chorus. I just had the chanting, so I could keep it on the beat, so you could kind of nod your head to it if you want to.
I think if we did this again, I think we could try and make the same sort of standards of songs, but maybe add another 2 or 4 on it as well to make it a little bit longer. Because 6 is a little bit short, but at the end of the day, all these songs are pretty good quality.
Yeah, I think the only reason we didn't do more was to make sure that we had enough time to do the rest of our college work.
Yeah, that's true. And we wanted to go through these songs and clean them up a little bit, add some little things here and there to make them more interesting.
Yeah, just focused more on actually making each song its own and distinct from the rest.
Yeah. All right. I think that's everything.
Yep. That's
So
it.
that's
Goodbye.
that. Bye bye.